Hey y'all, I'm going to show y'all what I'm cooking for supper tonight. And I'm going to be making a meatloaf. And it's actually a brown sugar glazed meatloaf that my kids love. Usually I fix my meatloaf in the oven, but I have gotten hooked on Crockpot meals, so I'm actually going to cook my meatloaf in my Crockpot. And I think it will be fabulous. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with a sleeve of crackers. And let me run through what's in it first, like I always like to do. Okay, in my brown sugar glazed meatloaf, I'm going to have a sleeve of crackers. I'm going to have 3 pounds of some type of ground meat. You can do turkey, you can do beef, you can do venison, deer meat, chicken, pork, whatever type of ground meat that you would like, 3 pounds. Okay, to season my meat, I'm going to have 1 teaspoon of garlic powder, 1 teaspoon of black pepper, half a teaspoon of salt, 2 tablespoons of yellow mustard, 2 teaspoons of Worcestershire sauce, and 2 eggs. Later we will go over the glaze that will be on top. So right now we're just going to work on the meatloaf part. And if you do not have saltines, you can use club crackers, Ritz crackers, breadcrumbs, panko crumbs, whatever kind. If you're keto, you can use pork rinds, okay? This is also a recipe that can be made keto with pork rinds. Hey, Gabe, make the dogs be quiet. This recipe can also be made keto by adding pork rinds and replacing your brown sugar with a Splenda brown sugar and a no sugar ketchup. So remember that, that's an option. Another idea, because y'all know that I love to give ideas. Let's say you want this meal to go farther. I have been known to do this. I have been known to use maybe a pound of ground meat and then more crackers to make it go farther. To make it, you know, if I'm feeding a larger group of people, I might use a couple pounds of meat, but then add a couple packages or sleeves of crackers. Okay, let's say money's tight and I need to fix a meatloaf. I'll add a pound, if I'm doing it in the oven, I'll add a pound of ground beef and then maybe a sleeve and a half or 2 sleeves of crackers. And you say, well, that's a lot of crackers. Well, sometimes we have to make meals go farther, and by the time you put all the seasonings in it and mix it all in, and especially if you crumble your crackers up real fine, you're not going to notice a difference, and your family won't either. So what I do, I just do it old-fashioned way. I just get in here and break it up with my hands. Yes, you can put it in a Ziploc bag, and you can get a rolling pin and smash it all up. To me, that's a waste of a Ziploc bag. Yes, I'm frugal. I'm not going to waste a Ziploc bag to smash up some crackers when I can do it with my hands. So I just get in here. Now, and you also can put these in a food processor and get your crackers really fine. I just have always done it this way. I know there's probably easier ways to do it, but to me that's more dishes, and it's easier for me just to crumble them up with my hands. And just however fine you want it. I'm not usually too picky on how fine I get my crumbs. But like I said, Ritz crackers, club crackers, breadcrumbs, crushed pork rinds, which those you would have to probably put in a processor. Okay, I'm using ground turkey, and the reason why ground turkey is less than $3 a pound. Okay. Go down just cut down I just cut down. I had a woman she said, I'm always trying to get those clips off, and I never can get the clips off the end of the meat. I'm like, I don't waste time with the clips. I just cut down the side of the package. Everybody does it different, and we're never too old to learn, so. That one's trying to come out of the package. Okay. Okay. There's our 3 pounds of meat. Okay, next I'm going to go ahead and add 2 eggs. For some reason I got 3 out, but maybe I wasn't thinking. But anyway, 2 is what I normally use. Penny, hey Gabe, Penny, do something with her. Either you need to put her in the bedroom. It's one thing about having lots of animals. They're always wanting to do something. Okay. I broke my eggs up in a bowl because sometimes I have fresh eggs, and sometimes you get a bad fresh egg. Of course, you could get a bad egg at the grocery store. Okay. Now, before I go on to how I'm going to season my meatloaf, on a meatloaf, you can add diced onions, you can add diced bell peppers, you can add many things to your meatloaf. But my family doesn't care for diced onions, they don't care for bell peppers. And so, for these recipes, I'll always have a lot of people say, why don't you add onion? Or why don't you do this? Well, to make the video for y'all, I'm not going to cook it and add things that my family won't eat. That's a waste of money. So that's why I always tell y'all what you can do. You can add diced onion. You can add bell peppers. You can add jalapenos. You can add, on the seasonings, you can add a taco packet. You can add an onion, what's it called? A Lipton onion packet. You can add ranch seasoning. You can add whatever you want to your meatloaf. It's like a blank canvas, okay? But the reason why I don't is because my kids don't care for it, and there's no sense in making it for y'all for a video when they won't eat it, okay? So, next we're going to go on to the seasonings. We're going to add a teaspoon of garlic powder. This is a half a teaspoon measuring spoon, so there's our teaspoon. Okay, I'm going to add some salt and pepper, a teaspoon of pepper. I'm going to add half a teaspoon of salt. Okay, I'm going to add 2 tablespoons of mustard. I don't see my tablespoon out, so guess what? This is a tablespoon. It will work. Like I said, y'all, it doesn't have to be exact. Now, if we were doing some type of baking, some, fancy dish, then it might have to be perfect. But this does not have to be perfect. Okay, let's see. We will need Worcestershire sauce, 2 teaspoons. Okay, so let's go through this and make sure I have everything. I have 3 pounds of ground beef or turkey. I have turkey. I have a teaspoon of garlic powder. I have a teaspoon of black pepper, half a teaspoon of salt, a sleeve of crackers, which you could actually add 1 more sleeve if you wanted to go farther. I have been known to do that, and I was tempted just a minute ago to go get another sleeve, but I'm trying to hold back, okay? 2 tablespoons of yellow mustard, 2 teaspoons of Worcestershire sauce, and 2 eggs. Okay, what we're going to do now is I'm going to add, and you can spray it, your crock pot, but I'm going to add a little bit of olive oil because I like the flavor of olive oil. Mix that around in there on the sides. Okay, here we go. This part gets messy. Go in here and hey Caitlin, would you get me another sleeve of crackers? I can tell. I usually use ground beef, and I can tell the turkey's not going to stick together like the ground beef. So you'll have to go up. It's up on the top shelf, baby. Oh no, you're right. You got a back behind there, you see it? I can tell that it's gonna have to have another sleeve because it's not forming it like I want it to. And would you mind opening it and dumping them in here, please? Yeah, because I want it to be a little bit more firm than that. And if you'll just dump the whole sleeve in there. It's good to have helpers. Okay. So we're going to do 2 sleeves of crackers. I was kind of in my mind thinking that. Usually I only cook 2 pounds of meat, and for some reason I thought I would do 3 pounds of meat and have extra for leftovers. But that's the thing about cooking, and it would have been fine just placing it in a pan without this other sleeve, but you can't go wrong. I mean, and whenever I have fixed meatloaf in like a baking dish, I always do like a big 9x13 baking dish because I want my, some people like their meatloaves like a pan loaf. I want mine to have more surface area for my brown sugar glaze. Yeah. But remember, it's portion control, y'all. And I was so excited this morning. I got on the scales and I was under 150. Y'all, I have not been under 150 in years. Years. Okay. So now we're going to we're basically going to put it in here and then form it, okay? So like, I promise y'all it'll be good, okay? Okay, so we're going to kind of try to make it look like a meatloaf. Doesn't have to be fancy. Kind of flatten it out as flat as we can get it. And those sides will get nice and hopefully charred for me. Okay, let me walk over here and I'm gonna wash my hand. Okay, now for the sauce. And I didn't get a bowl out for the sauce, so let me find it. Okay, for the sauce. Okay. For the sauce, we're going to have a cup of ketchup. Guess that hasn't been opened yet. Okay. Cup of ketchup. This is the best part. This is like, makes you go yum. Okay, we'll use my mustard spoon because we're going to put mustard in this. I love mustard. Okay. Cut a cup of ketchup. 2 teaspoons of Worcestershire. Okay, 2 tablespoons of mustard. 1, 2. Remember, it does not have to be exact. Okay, so we did our cup of ketchup, 2 teaspoons of Worcestershire, 2 tablespoons of mustard, half a cup of brown sugar. Yum. We We like some brown sugar. So let's get our brown sugar out. What'd I say? Half a cup. No, I think I'm gonna add a cup. That looks too good. Can you go wrong with more brown sugar? I don't think so. Okay, I'll have to pop that off. Okay, so I put a cup. I need to change my recipe. I get to working on my recipe. I'm like, yeah, that needs a little bit more of something. Okay, a little ketchup. Try to keep everything so it doesn't look cluttered. There we go. Okay. But a lot of times, I get, a lot of people want to say, why don't add this, why don't add that? Well, basically, as a stay-at-home mom, I try to make delicious meals with the least amount of ingredients that I can. In other words, it makes them cheaper. I don't want to buy extra packets of this or extra ingredients of that. I try to use common things without having to spend extra money. So, because I know a lot of people say, well, I'd add a packet of this or I'd add a packet of that. Well, that involves a trip. If I forgot, it involves a trip to town, and maybe I didn't think ahead of time. Trying to break up that brown sugar. Okay, that smells wonderful. Let's see what it tastes like. It tastes like baked beans. And that's an idea. You could either have, you could either have baked beans or you could make you some baked beans and like maybe an hour before this is done, pour the baked beans on top and cook it some more. That is the star of the show. Okay. I'm going to pour this down right down the middle. Try not to let it get too close to the edges. I mean, I know it's going to, trying to keep it on the middle there. And, because I don't want it pouring all down the edges. So, y'all, I wish y'all could smell this. I mean, it smells just like baked beans. Of course, it's basically almost got the same thing that baked beans has. Okay, I am so excited because y'all are going to love this recipe. Okay, so let's recap what we've done here. This is my brown sugar glazed meatloaf in a crock pot. Okay, I have 3 pounds of ground turkey. I added a teaspoon of garlic powder, a teaspoon of black pepper, half a teaspoon of salt, 2 sleeves of crushed crackers, 2 tablespoons of yellow mustard, 2 teaspoons of Worcestershire sauce, and 2 eggs. The brown sugar sauce, I did a cup of ketchup, 2 teaspoons of Worcestershire sauce, 2 tablespoons of mustard, and a cup of brown sugar. So good. So this is going to cook on low either for 6 hours, high for 4 hours. And then I think there'll be enough here. I said 6 to 8 servings, at least that, maybe more, to have some meal prep. Add you some mashed potatoes or a salad or some corn on the cob or some fried squash out of the garden, which we love to have. And another idea is have you some baked beans. That would be a wonderful idea. Anyway, I hope y'all enjoy the crock pot meal that we're having tonight for supper. And I thank y'all for interacting with me, for liking, for sharing, for just commenting, for always being there, for always being an encouragement. Because without y'all, I would not be doing this. I would have gave up a long time ago. So I appreciate y'all. Hey y'all, I'm going to show y'all what my meatloaf looks like. It is finally done. I did check it with a meat thermometer to be sure. Look at that. Okay. I'm gonna cut us a piece of it. We're gonna see what it tastes like. Okay. I don't know whether to use a spatula. Sometimes they use a spatula, but I might use this fork. You wanna come over here, Caitlin? You might have to come. I don't know if you can see it. I'll take this piece out right here. Look at that, y'all. Trying to get it without breaking it. Okay. Look at that. Yum. Okay. See what we think, Caitlin. Of course, I want some of that brown sugar glaze. But it looks really moist. I cooked it on high for about 5 hours. Let's let that cool a little bit. Doesn't that look good? And I like got a little crunch to it there. That's probably my favorite part. Let's try it. I can hear it sizzling. Mmm. Mmm. Oh my goodness, y'all. That is so good. I'm gonna get a bite of this crunchy part. I have always cooked meatloaf in the oven, and I had this idea yesterday. I thought, you know, I love the Crockpot meals, and I'm like, I want to cook a meatloaf in the Crockpot. So I took my original recipe and put it in a Crockpot. Oh, y'all, that is so good. Mm-hmm. One more bite. Mmm. Mmm. Caitlin, go ahead and zoom in so they can see that there wasn't a lot. Can you zoom in and make sure, see there's not a lot of liquid? And that's good. In other words, the meatloaf has all of it is not dry. It is very moist. Mmm. Y'all should try the Crockpot meatloaf for sure.